عمرو أشرف.
عليا الصندي. عليا الصندي. نور الهدى.
شاركتات.
ايوه بالظبط.
I was born at
استنى
early life. نتكلم أول حاجة عن early life، بعد كده biography, influence, style and its principles, examples, building build design, painting, and that at 1928.
الله يرحمه.
I have 12 brothers and sisters.
I was born on the 5th of November in 1865 and I died on the 10th of January in 1933. I was a Scottish artist as well and my work became one of the defining features of the Glasgow style during the 1890s. The biography of Charles. He was born in Glasgow. He was the son of a police superintendent. His own style?
My style was, my concern was built around the needs of people, people seen, not masses, as individuals. For example, there was a rose motif.
Lucy. Good evening, everybody. My name is Antonio Gazi. I was born on 25th of June 1852, and I died on the 19th of June 1926 at the age of 73. In the beginning of my life, I was the youngest of all my siblings, and I suffered from rheumatism, and so everybody thought I wouldn't have a purpose. But instead, I went to architecture school, and even though I wasn't a high achiever and my grades weren't very good, but I still managed to stand out. And after 8 years, I was among 4 of other people who graduated from it. I was born in Catalonia, Barcelona, Spain, and I wasn't inspired by the geometric shapes and things that they teach us in architecture school. I was inspired by nature. I was inspired by colors, and that's what made my work more unique than anyone else's. And even though it wasn't noticed back then, even though it was criticized greatly, and I lived all my life begging, I lived on the streets, and my work wasn't complete in most cases. Yet, my work today, people talk about it. People still remember it. It inspires a lot of other people who don't have hope, who think like me. And so that's why, I'm proud that I didn't give up on my dreams and that I made a change and a contribution to the world of architecture.
أول شغلة بنعرف ضيفنا اسمه تشارلز ريني ماكنتوش. حابين أول شغلة نسأل وين انولد بأي تاريخ انولدت ماكنتوش؟
والله أنا انولدت في 7 جون 1869 في غلاسكو اسكتلند.
أوكي.
وانت امتى
توفيت في ديسمبر.
ألف سنة بأس عليك.
حياتك.
أخو ما كنتش بال 11 أخو. تجوزت من سنة 1890 وأول حاجة أول 20 سنة من عمري قضيتها في العلوم والكيمياء والدراسة. بعدين
احمد طارق وشريف برضه. لا مش تبعنا. Action.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to History Program. Today's episode is about Art Nouveau era, or new art by French. It's in French means new art, and in Germany means young art. It was international philosophy and style of architecture art and applied art. Sorry. Exhibition and creative art. Ladies and gentlemen, well, please, we want to welcome Charlie Renee McIntosh.
طب دكتور معلش الوقت هيطلع بره عشان هيضحكنا. يا عم انا دايس
مش عايزين ضحك يا جماعه.
خلصت الاسئله من حد.
Please everyone want to welcome Charlie Renee McIntosh and his wife Margaret McDonald.
ولك 7 جون 1868. مش عايزين نحكي يا اخوانا، معلش التصوير يعني ما
انا مش لازم اتكلم لو صح تعمل حاجه اطلع بره اطلع بره
اطلع بره
اطلع بره
قايلها في السلايد.
صح دي فاهم اكشن
فرطونا يا جماعه.
كنا بعرف نجيب
الراجل ده جميل.
اتجوزنا سنة 1900 بس، وأنا قصرت جدا في شغله. كان يعني كل الديزاينز بتاعته والروز والحاجات دي كانت مني أنا، يعني كانت كل الديتيلز والكلام ده كان كله مني، الديزاينز كلها.
طبعا مارجريت اثرت في شغل كتير، يعني في مقولتين شهرين انا قلتهم قبل كده ان مارجريت يعني ما كانتش نص شغلي فهي 3/4 شغلي. كانت 3/4 شغلي، وغير كده طبعا مارجريت كانت هي جينيوس وانا يعني التالنت اثرت في شغلي.
This is Anthony Gaudi. We're students from MSA, and we're making an interview.
We introduce her as a student and make a reportage about it. Could you speak with us about your lifestyle, your childhood, and its?
Of course. My father's name is Francis Boda Sira. He is copper smith. The copper smith people دول هم people they make pieces from copper set characters and كده. So the examiner when he was, he told me maybe I am a genius man or a madman. What about you?
When we finished, I didn't see it's finished. Today I have some bad news. Today is 10 June. Do you know that? The rescue heritage site is supported some of the building of Antonio Duda, like Casada Vehicles and Blue Gold and Casipa Table.
Today we will pronounce our breaking news that Anthony Gaudi is now dead. The architect was hit and ran over by a tram. He surprisingly died. Now we can say that Gaudi is 73 years old now. Okay, this photo is 26 years old for him. Here is when he was 36. Okay, here is a very rare photo for him smoking a cigar with his father and
only when I was a kid in Paris and continuing my studies at the National School of the Naval Arts. Can you tell me about your personal life? Yeah, I was born in a religious family.
معماري في اسبانيا اسمه انطوني جاودي. هتكلم عن لايف والانفلونسز والستايل والفيرست ووركس والكرايتيك. اول حاجه هو اتولد ومات في اسبانيا سنه 1852 لحد سنه 1926، عاش 73 سنه.
هو صديق كان معظم المبادئ نشوف مغامرات متأثر بالنيتشر.
Ayman as our first research in second research in history 3.
We're going to present a new idea that someone is an interviewer and the other four are actor Gimor presenting an age of his lifetime.
Every 20 ages.
Every 20 ages of his lifetime. Okay. Please tell me more about your education. How did you start?
أنا ابتديت 1882 دخلت مدرسة وأنا عندي كان 15 سنة تقريبا. دخلت مدرسة كان اسمها إيكوال دي آرت ديكوراتيف. بعد كده بعد 3 سنين وأنا عندي 18 سنة رحت مدرسة ثانية اسمها ليتال دي آرت بو ديكوراتيف. دي كان عندي 18 سنة كملت فيها مع الوظيفة.
designed Dr. Horta.
One of your famous building designs was the Metropolitan. Why was it the symbol of Paris?
It was the symbol of the original because it was when I designed it, it was related to the what do you say? How do you say? It was about
كريم هو مش ده جيمار؟
60s at his 40s, 40s to 60s. Welcome, Mr. Hector. Okay.
متحجب لما كبر.
One of your famous buildings too was Maison Toilette, right? What was the purpose of that building?
It was actually covered by another at the hotel yesterday, I think. It has windows were decorated by floral design.
Okay. Welcome, Mr. I'm very sorry, Mr. Hector. We know that you're sick, but we wanted to make an interview with you. Tell me about your the building of yours that's called synagogue.
it was based
Good afternoon. Today we're going to present the work of the great Spanish architect Gaudi. Of course, our weird costumes, as you can see, these are to demonstrate the inspiration of Gaudi, which was mainly from nature. So we wanted to honor him by wearing these figures.
He was born in Rio in 1852, in June 25. He was very poor because التيتشر بتاعه أول حاجة شرح له ازاي البيردز بتطير. فهو يعني هو لاحظ ان مش كل البيردز بتطير، في التشيكن ما بتطيرش بعناف جناحات. فدي بقى كانت رؤية مختلفة وهو كده بقى مختلف.
And هو الفترة اللي هو he was sick and he stayed a lot of time at home. It enabled him to meditate يعني the nature around him,
animals
feeling plants, animals,
trees، كل حاجة.
flavor. For example, as the Islamic art, Indian, Persian.
We decided to know about this music from a person that we live with. So we decided to make an idea about time traveling, and we went to meet an architect which was one of the famous architects there. It was Professor Anthony Gaudi.
Let us
to know that you are a marvelous student there, or they just noticed you as a
مر بمراحل كثيرة في حياته. أول شيء يعني كان يدرس في مدرسة جلاسكو سكول اوف آرت، درس فيها وجاب يعني ربح اللي هو.
Today we have a special guest who is a leader of modern architecture and organic style, Mr. Frank Lloyd Wright. It's an honor to be with you today.
The honor is mine.
First, we want to know the atmosphere you grown in.
I had grown in Richland Center, Wisconsin. My father, William C. Wright, was a preacher and a musician, and my mother, Anna Lloyd Jones, was a teacher.
I hear that you didn't finish your study. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I didn't finish my study because I studied civil engineering because the school had no courses in architecture, so I left it in 1887 to work as a draftsman in Chicago.
Chicago, tell me about it.
I worked for several offices until I found a job at Mr. Sullivan's office, and I became Mr. Sullivan's chief assistant.
I think this is the time you designed your first building. This is right?
Yes, it's true. The Charlie House in 1891.
Sure you had impressed your boss, Mr. Sullivan?
No, I had developed a new technique in the architecture, but Mr. Sullivan disapproved. Then I set my own business.
Now we will see Mr. Sullivan talks about Mr. Frank.
Frank is a great architect and designer. He always tries to achieve new technique and has extraordinary ideas. We have a different point views, but he's still my brilliant student, and I appreciate him and all of his works and style.
Back to our guest, Mr. Frank. I hear that you designed a lot of works. How many are they?
I had designed 1,141 works, including schools, museums, offices, houses.
All of them were built?
No, 532 resulted in completed works, and 409 still stand.
How did you have time to all of this?
I'm not just design buildings and structures. I had also designed furniture, fabrics, and art glass.
Tell us about your famous buildings.
Let's begin with Barrier House, such as Ruby House in Illinois and Tulane in Wisconsin. Also, I have designed skylighted forts like Johnson Wax Administration Building and the sprawling snail like Guggenheim Museum in New York.
I know that you saved the talk about your masterpiece, the Falling Water House.
Yeah, that's right, because it's my favorite place and it's a so interesting story.
I think there was a funny situation between you and the owner.
Yes, the story was the owner called me and said that he want me to make him a house in the forest. So I went there to study the topography of the site. I spent 3 months studying it. Suddenly, the owner called me and asked if I finished, and I found myself told him, yes, I finished and waiting for you. Then I found him telling me that he is 3 hours away from the site. Immediately, I started to draw the plans, sections, and elevations, because I already have the idea. In the same time I finished, the owner was arrived.
Now we will see the owner opinion.
Mr. Frank is an unique person. He has a great ideas and impressive designs, interior, exterior, and furniture. The Falling Water House is amazing building and a lot of people love it, so I thought to make it like a museum and get profit from it.